Hey guys, today we're going to be changing the spark plugs out in this 2019 Ford F-150. This is the 5.0 liter V8, so we got lots of spark plugs to change today. So just going to do a quick run through on what you're going to need and how to do it. So this is going to be the tools you're going to need today. Everything's laid out. So you're going to need 8 spark plugs. There's your 8 new ones. That's one of my old ones here. So I just checked on my truck's at 83,000 miles. And I got the used one is at 0.6. So now your new ones are going to be gapped between 0.49 and 0.53. So you're going to need the spark plugs and a gapping tool. These ones actually all came to pre-gapped. They were good to go, but just make sure that you check them anyways. Not all of them are going to be coming pre-gapped. So make sure that they're gapped and ready to go. Some other things you're going to need is the dielectric grease or spark plug boot protector. You just get this at AutoZone for 99 cents. You're going to need a socket wrench with what is this, 8mm, and also with that, if you have too small of a wrench, you might want to have a pipe as well, just to give yourself a little leverage. Some of these are in there pretty good. We're going to need some torque wrenches as well, or just one. They're going to be torqued down to 10 to 15 foot-pounds for the F-150, and you're also going to need a socket wrench as well. This is a 5/8 inch socket, and this is from Lexavon. It's a really nice one, magnetic, and it's 10 inches long. So very nice. As also Lexavon helped me out with some torque wrenches as well. And you're going to need a flathead screwdriver. So this is just a boot that came out when I changed this one out. So now I can show you what we got going on here. So first off, the big thing you're going to need to know is most of them are all going to be the same except for number 3 over here. That one's going to be the difficult one because the high pressure fuel valve is in the way. So we'll get to that in a second. The big thing is we're going to have to remove it, so there's going to be fuel in it. So the thing you're going to want to know is when you open your driver's side door, it's going to prime the valve here. So that's going to put fuel in there. So just leave that sit. And so when we take it off, there shouldn't be any fuel in there at all because it's sat dormant for 24 hours. So that's your big thing. And now another next thing is we're actually going to remove this intake here, the air intake. So it's not too big of a deal. There's just one hose here that just comes up. And then around the back here, we got one right here. These black parts just push up. Just take a screwdriver and push up on each side. That'll pop that off. And then there's another hose, a PCV valve hose. This one that goes in here. I find it easiest to take it off down below here first. Take it off there first, and then the top part will pivot, and then you can take the whole thing off. So that'll come off. Set that aside. And now you can remove this whole intake so you can get to the spark plugs a lot easier. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure to clean off these areas just to make sure none of this dust or anything goes down into where the spark plug's at. So if you have a towel or anything, just wipe that down and make sure that there's not going to be any dust going down there. As you can see, that's what it's going to look like here in a second. So the first thing you want to do is unclip that little clip here. So if you take your flathead screwdriver and just pry it up underneath there, and you can kind of push back at the same time. And as you can see, it kind of slid back there. And so what you're going to want to get it back to is, as you can see there, it goes all the way back to the end of the black piece there. So it needs to slide back a little farther. There we go. And you're good to go. And sometimes you might be able to just pull it off, but otherwise, I just take a screwdriver. The fatter the better. This one's kind of a good size. Just stick it on the side here, and you're just going to kind of pry it. And then you do one side and then do the other side. And then that usually will get it far enough to where you can pry it off here. So once you get that off, you got an 8mm bolt here. You'll take that off, and then you're going to take your socket here. You take your spark plug socket. You're going to drop it down in the hole, and then that's where you can use the extra bar if you need to unpry it. It shouldn't be in there too tight. So get that unpried, and then you should be able to pull that out. Once you get it loose, you can take the socket off the end of it and just kind of do it by hand. That way you don't have to have the socket in the way because there's not a lot of room in a lot of these spaces. So, and that'll be the same for when you're putting it back in. When you're putting it back in, just take it off the socket and then just put it in like this. And then you can, you can go down there like that and then just hand tighten it. And then once you get it hand tightened, then you can get the torque wrench and torque down to 10 to 15 foot-pounds there. And what you're going to want to do is put that dielectric grease on the spark plug as well before you put it back in. And that's so it just makes a nice waterproof sealant. So you're just going to want to put it directly on the ceramic part here, so up here on the grooves. And sometimes you can even put it in the boot as well. So if you want to put some inside the boot there, that works as well. So either way, and then you can put it back in there and tighten that down. So it's going to be the same on all 4 of these here, and then 3 of those over there will be the exact same except for number 3. So let's get this side done and then we'll move to the other side. Okay, so now we're over onto the passenger side. I already got the first, second, and fourth one done. So we're on to the third one. So I was saying that if you want to remove this pressure pump, the fuel pressure pump here, this is what I'm talking about. This right here, sometimes in the way for people. So you can just pinch those 2 things in. There we go. And you can pull that off and that'll be out of the way. Don't remove that one. That one's definitely going to, you don't need that one out of the way. Just remove this one. So this is the one I was saying that if you leave your vehicle sit for 24 hours, there should be no fuel in it. So then when you pull this out, it won't be dripping everywhere. But if you open the driver's side door again, that's what primes this. So if you open your driver's side door, fuel will be in here. So just make sure you don't open the door if you plan on taking this off. I was actually able to do it without removing that. So you're just going to remove your foam piece. That's just got a little clip here like that to remove. And then it was great. So I used this Lexavon spark plug remover here, and it worked really well because it's got a pivoting head here. So you can like roll it or put it through the back here like this, and then it fits right in there. If I didn't have to do this with one hand, it'd be a lot easier. So there we go. So now it can just go right in there. So just like that. So then you don't have to remove anything. So that makes it really nice. So I'll put a link to these, all the tools I used in the description if you're interested. But besides that, yeah, you torque them down to about 10 to 15 foot-pounds. If you can get a torque wrench in there, otherwise mostly just hand tight will be fine. And then make sure you tighten down all your bolts and everything. Replace all your wires, and then put your intake back together like that, and start your truck, and you should be good to go. So also on valve 3 there, I forgot to mention, this is what it looks like. So it's going to be a little different. So this is actually what's going to go down and fit on the spark plug. So that's the top there, and that wire is just going to go over and connect to that top over there. So you can pull that off first, and then you should be able to just pluck this right out. So it's a little different than the other ones. And then to go back in, just put that back in, and then put the top on the top of that black piece over there.